Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, and whatever it is, good day to you, Stadia. Did you like that? It's me, it's Rock, and my two excellent compatriots, of course, Raph and Duncan. We're joining you for the first time on a Wednesday evening for Stadia Rokks Live. As you know, normally Stadia Rokks is on a Sunday morning, and it's become a bit of a staple for all your kind of marmalade and toast and cup of tea loving folk. But we decided that with Rock Around the Clock and Stadia Rokks Live both kind of covering news, that there was an overlap and it just wasn't great telly. So we've moved the biggest show over here now to Wednesday nights. So here we are. Guys, how are you? Raph, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing well, thank you for asking. Just enjoying these, this good stuff.
You enjoy the good... Muted myself as well, which isn't very useful. Duncan, how are you, my friend?
At least I wasn't the one who was muted for a change.
I know. It has become your staple, I know.
I know. I'm absolutely outstanding at them. It's since I've moved off my wee clicking thing, which everybody was complaining about. I have been doing that all the time now, but I am good. I think we've got plenty to talk about here. I think it's going to be a fun one.
We've got so much to talk about. What an amazing week it's been for Stadia. In fact, 2 weeks, really, because we had a whole build-up to good stuff, which, of course, launched yesterday. We're going to cover that next in the news. But yeah, I mean, last week there was so much to talk about as well. It was absolutely amazing. It's good times to be alive if you're a gamer and a Stadia fan, of course.
Definitely.
Yeah, I did. Was that a statement there, Rock? I thought you were just going off.
It was a statement and not a question. But
Yes.
whenever I pause, it's usually a little cue for one of you guys to go, yes, Rock.
Yes, Rock, you're all right.
Yes, Rock, you're awesome. And everything you're saying there is 100% right there.
See, Duncan's hyper because he's been on the old YouTube for the last couple of hours. So he's probably been out there playing all sorts of games and stuff. But that's all good. It's all good. Should we get on with the news? We've got a fun-packed evening. Let's go.
The latest news from Stadia.
Hey, there we go. And here it is. So, as we've just been saying, this week has been good stuff week. We were told last week in the Google Stadia community blog that it was coming, and that had followed on the heels of a couple of big news items as well. Everybody knows about this, but let's just recap it. Duncan, can you remind folk of at least one of the announcements made last week on the run-up to good stuff?
Okay, there was two main talking points from last week. There was loads of wee small announcements as well, but the two main ones was Cyberpunk Day and Date to Stadia, which was massive, and they made a big song and dance about that during Cyberpunk's Night City Wire, and there was a special segment saying it's coming Day and Date to Stadia. And the second big news drop was on Friday when we got a load of Ubisoft games confirmed coming to Stadia, and most of them are coming holiday 2020. So we don't actually have a firm date of when they're coming, but they are going to be coming this year. And we're going to go down speculation lane a bit later, what that maybe means. But that was the big news from last week in the Stadiaverse.
No, it was amazing news as well, and I guess a big build-up to what launched yesterday, Raph, which was, of course, good stuff. We're just seeing a screen from today's community blog. But do you want to just run quickly over yesterday's and what happened yesterday?
Okay, so yesterday we were introduced to two YouTubers who have been quite a bit of a staple in the Stadia sort of advertising for a couple of times. They showed off... What did they show off? They showed off Pac-Man.
Yes.
They showed off the release date for Jedi Fallen Order. And they also showed off Hello Engineer, which is from the same universe as Hello Neighbor.
Ah, yes. And that, I mean, those games alone, I thought were amazing. I I personally thought yesterday's event was amazing. Everything that was announced was really cool. We instantly got a click and play demo, the Pac-Man demo. That's a game that's coming shortly to Stadia. And of course, big news for fans of Star Wars, Jedi Fallen Order announced as well. Duncan, when's the actual launch dates for these games?
Yeah, putting me on the spot. You've got the blog post.
I've seen you, mate. You've been popping them out all over Cloudy with a Chance of Games.
Nope. That was me, actually.
Oh, was it Duncan? Oh, it was Raph, sorry. Raph,
yeah.
tell us.
Sorry, 1 second, guys. My headphones have come out.
No worries.
And I cannot hear you. There we go. I can hear you now.
And that's when I said, no problem, Mrs. Raph, when are those games launching? Do we know? We've got some dates.
So, Jedi Fallen Order is the 24th of November.
Mm-hmm.
Pac-Man is I think it is the 17th of November, and
birthday present.
And Hello Engineer is coming out in early 2021, I believe.
Yep, brilliant stuff. So there's at least 2 of those coming out in the next few weeks. Of course, a lot of people were saying, Duncan, that Jedi, it's kind of landing right slap bang in the middle of Cyberpunk and Valhalla and so many other bits and pieces. Is that an issue?
I personally believe it is going to be a bit of an issue for the game. If it was coming out, sorry, just shut this door here for a second. If it came out in a couple of weeks up until the end of this month, I think it would have been a perfect sort of position. But it's coming at a time when we've got all the big games coming, and it may end up getting lost, especially if it comes in at full price, because it's been on other platforms for over a year now, so there will be a bit of hesitancy for it to come. I know some people have talked about it was on their list, but now because of the timing, it's a wait until it's on offer sort of thing now.
Yeah, and you don't think there's a chance of it coming as a pro game?
Not now. I think that ship may have sailed. I wouldn't have been surprised if it came in as a pro game. I think it would have been maybe a brilliant pro game to actually get, and it would be a year old, so it wasn't out from the realms of possibility as maybe a pro game. But I don't think we're going to get that as a pro game this year.
Raph, have you played Fallen Jedi?
I have actually. I had it on PS4. I really enjoyed it, and I am going to double dip and get it on Stadia as well. I think the timing is a bit peculiar, and for me, I think they're doing that on purpose, and I think there's a reason behind it. I think possibly they're doing that to put you off buying it right now, because there will probably be a Christmas sale on it. So they put it quite close together, so then you don't rush into it. That way you don't get that sort of backlash of, oh, they just put it on there, why they put it on someone else? So
very, very, very interesting theory. Duncan, do we know, is it going to be 4K on Stadia?
I'm going to give Stadia some praise here. Everybody be in shock here. They have got out from the power game, and they are no longer saying if it's 4K, 60 FPS. All we just know that it is coming at this moment in time, which I'm actually happy to see that they're sort of moving away from that talk and just worried about getting the games onto the systems. That's because if they got into the power game now, unless they're on spec with the next gen consoles, it's not going to fly too much. They need to be in and around there now if they're going to start talking it's 4K, 60 FPS, and all that sort of thing.
Well, it certainly wasn't on PlayStation. I played it as well, Raph, on PS4, similarly, and finished it, enjoyed it, and everything else. I'd certainly like to play it again. But I think it was only. I don't think it was 4K on PlayStation, but I may be wrong. But either way, you're absolutely right, Duncan. Why the hell am I even bothering to think about whether it's 4K or not? Who cares? Who cares? Everybody else is 1080p, so may as well join them.
It's just not a good time to maybe get into that sort of talk unless we get into the mythical speculation talk of Generation 2 hardware for Stadia. But we've seen some hints of possibilities of it, but There has been nothing really talked about that. And
No.
could that be tomorrow?
Could that be tomorrow? Well, before we go to tomorrow, let's have a look at what actually launched or landed today. So we had another 5 minutes? Another 5-minute video.
5.5, yeah.
5.5. It was slightly longer, was it, tonight?
Yeah, and Rock, as we know with you, that extra half
makes all the difference, my friend. Makes all the difference. Now, I don't know if it's just me, but does she look like Storm from The Boys? She even sounds like Storm from The Boys. But anyway, that's just, my little personal...
Yeah, I can see it.
thing. Have I just put the same video on? No, that was yesterday's video, wasn't it? Or was it? No, that was her talking today, doing a recap of what we saw yesterday. That's it. So it was just, I've forgotten her name, Lizzie Lawrence. There we go. It was just Lawrence today. We didn't have Lamar doing his piece with his which was very good. I thought she was excellent, actually. I've seen a lot of people saying they thought she was a really good presenter. And in many ways, it's great that they're folding in actual. I mean, let's face it, she's a professional and she makes her money from doing this. So actually, to get professionals presenting these shows and faces, I don't know this young lady, but I'm assuming she has a large following on YouTube. So it's good to have people turn up and do this stuff, even though I appreciate they ain't doing it for free. But it does make it look more professional. So the very first thing that she talked about was Outcasters and actually a launch date. Am I correct? We didn't get a launch date, so it was just, we know this is coming. Here's another trailer.
Yeah, sort of show some gameplay, have somebody else talk about it, dig up a little bit.
I think we do have a launch date for.
Yeah, I think we do.
1st of November or 1st of December.
Yes, exactly. Well, I've always said whenever Outcasters has been tweeting, they put a little hashtag pro game, which I've always thought was a slight clue. So as you've rightly said, and of course, again, it's a PlayStation exclusive. Sorry, it's not. It's a Stadia exclusive. Been a busy day, folks. It's a Stadia.
Rock's just excited about his PlayStation coming. Just a minute.
Just park it there, Baxter. So yeah, no, it's Stadia exclusive, and
you're Baxtering me now as well. Come on, why is everybody Baxtering me?
They make a good can of soup. So so it's almost certainly going to be a pro game, and therefore that gives us 1st of November or 1st of December. My money is on the 1st of November, but that's purely speculation. She's again as young Storm. So then she launched into, I didn't even realise there was an Orcs 3 coming. We're running a little bit behind on the video now, but that was the next thing she talked about.
That was an expansion to Orcs Must Die 3, and it's priced reasonably as well. I think I'm going to be picking that up, to be absolutely honest with you there.
It has been really well received, hasn't it? I've not heard anybody say they didn't enjoy it, and for a very long while, it was everybody's favourite game. Raph, are you into Orcs?
Do you know what? I love the whole tower defense game, but I didn't have much time to play most of it. Mm-hmm. But when it first came out, I delved into it, got a little bit deep, and then they released more games on Stadia, and I was like, do I play the new games or do I go back to that? And it just kept. Stadia has that thing where all those pro games just start to build up and you just want to try them all.
Yeah, tell me about that. Mm-hmm. Do we have any details on that one, Duncan? Release times, monies? You're going to say Ask Raph, aren't you? The Orcs DLC.
The Orcs was like £7 and $10, and I think it's reasonably soon. Was it next month?
Okay. November the 6th.
Oh, wow.
There you go.
Yeah,
and I do know the next one. What you want to talk about with what was just shown there with the Ark.
The Ark.
That it's a pro game and it's coming early 2021.
Who built the Ark? Now that one's been out for a little while, hasn't it? On other platforms.
A few years. A few years.
I think I played it again. Funny enough, I think I played it when it was a free game on PS4. And it's a survival game, isn't it? You basically find yourself in this area with no clothes, no tools, nothing. And you have to find stuff, build stuff, craft stuff, and progress. But it is, again, it's a hugely popular game, isn't it? Particularly on PC. And I can see it. And am I not right in saying this is actually going to be a free pro game as well, Dunk?
Yes, it is, and the cat has made an appearance. That's why I was pointing.
I saw the
at there.
cat. Yeah, I saw the cat. Cat always loves to
Yeah.
come. He loves a bit of camera. He's not camera shy, that cat, is he? Loves it. Or is she, I
Yeah,
should say.
the thing about Arc is the install size for Arc, if you put absolutely everything onto it, is about 200 gig. I was told earlier today.
Wow.
Yeah, I think that is going to start pushing this going forward. It's just absolutely massive, the hard drive spaces in some of these games, and this is going to be a brilliant example of a game which is going to be totally suited to Stadia because of that. And this, I wouldn't be surprised if the devs started pushing people towards Stadia, like what we've seen with the Elder Scrolls, but don't think that's going to be happening much longer. But I think I can see the devs pushing people towards Stadia because of that.
That's a good shout. So, in other words, we can. Sorry, go on, Raph.
I was going to say, so you've played Ark before, haven't you, Rokk?
Mm-hmm.
Have you played Ark before, Duncan?
I've dived into a wee bit of it, but nothing too deep.
Okay, because it is a huge game. Like, even on consoles and PC, it's a huge game. The area is massive. One of the things that I'm looking forward to about this is what Stadia can do with this, because even if you implement some of those features like Stadia Connect, crowd play or crowd choice and stuff like that, this would be a very good game to do that with, and it's a very good game to sort of expand it with as well, because like they've said, these are sort of like open world games where you can go further into it and do more things with it.
So to just expand on that then Raph, explain how you feel that they could integrate the game more into Stadia over time.
So with Stadia Connect, where you have the other screens, it'd be useful to have, say you weren't playing with someone who had a microphone or whatever, and then you could actually meet up with this person by having their little screen on your screen and seeing what they're up against, where they are, what they're building. And then you can literally work together simultaneously to build these different sort of houses, huts, boats, and stuff like that. Crowd choice, that could be another thing where they decide what creatures you come up against, what things come around the corner, stuff like that. There's just so much they can do with it.
Oh, that sounds amazing. The graphics in this trailer, they look significantly better than the graphics I remember playing. I just wonder whether the version that I guess you and I both played on PS4, I'm guessing that they were sort of a far lower quality because it wasn't PC essentially, and we would probably see closer to this quality when we get our version, which will be amazing. And just to reiterate, we're getting it for free. It's a pro game. Well, if you subscribe, of course. So that is amazing. I'm really looking forward to that one. Did we get a launch date?
Launch date for Arc?
For getting Arc, yeah.
No launch date. It's just early 2021 as a pro game.
Okay. So who knows, but sometime after Christmas, essentially. So yeah, looking forward to that. Then we got our free demo, which is the old click and play, Humankind, which I've normally not really a game genre that I've taken a huge amount of interest in, the sort of Age of Empires genre. Now, Duncan, I know this is absolutely up your street on acid. And is that, have you played this one?
I have not played it as yet. I am going to be playing it tomorrow, or I'm going to try and get some footage of it as well. I am really looking forward to actually getting stuck into this. It's a game like Civilization made by Sega. A lot of people forget Sega's actually been on Stadia from the word go with Football Manager.
Oh, yes.
I think people are getting really excited about Sega being here, but again, this is just more games of theirs coming on board, but it is good to see. Do you want to go evangelizing here?
You can, mate. It's your forum. You can, if you want to be a pulpit preacher, you crack on.
I'll be a big preacher now.
Thumping the Bible.
Yes, this game could be an absolute killer game for Stadia going forward. This is a piece. Basically this is going to be a PC game, but it's getting brought to Stadia.
Okay.
A bit like Baldur's Gate 3. This could bring a load of lapsed PC users into Stadia because this is a brand new franchise, which is maybe reinventing slightly some of the Civilization stuff. This can be really, really exciting. I can't wait to actually see what this is going to do. Again, we may see a big uptake in people actually trying this because there's a load of people in the PC market space who are looking forward to seeing this, and the demo is only available here. So this could be a real good get for Stadia.
Oh, absolutely. I think it was Andy Morphs was saying on Twitter earlier, Raph, you may have spotted this, that I think it was Andy, was having his laptop fixed. Somebody come over and was fixing the laptop. And when he mentioned to them that this game was free to play, they set up an account there and then because they were a PC guy. And, this is absolutely up their street. And, the point was that's the thing. This may not necessarily be a game that old fella Rokk plays, but it's kind of irrelevant because it's a massive genre and it's a massive game in its own right. And certainly, this kind of genre is a massive genre in its own right. So there will be a ton of people, as you've just rightly said, Duncan, whose ears will prick up when they hear that this is coming to Stadia. And actually, you can play it right now for 7 days for free. And there is actually a similarity with Baldur's Gate in the sense that this is early access, isn't it? The first thing one of the things about this game is that there's a guy called Mr. Spock, which made me chuckle at the outset, who introduces you to the game and tells you that it's in its unpolished state. There's a lot of work to be done. And then when you finish the game, there's actually, when on Stadia it asks you if you had a great experience. There's a poll of about 6 or 7 questions that they ask you, the devs ask you, about what your experience was and whether you experienced lag or quality of graphics and so on and so forth, which was the first time I've seen that implemented, and I thought that was really good.
Sounds good. I can't wait actually to dive into it to see all these wee bits and bobs you're talking about.
Lots to come. Brilliant.
For me, I've always... The fact that Duncan, you said earlier, this game is like Civilization. Growing up, my computer could never handle Civilization. So for me, I think I'm a very good example of the type of person who would want to play this game but didn't have the setup for it. So this actually gives me the opportunity to actually try this game out and have a go at this sort of Civilization type of game.
Wow.
And I was looking at it and it looks really good. The whole going through different tribes and time periods, and I think if you read it, you can combine some time periods together as well.
Yeah,
because it looks like it has a bit of a Catan sort of look to it.
We'll have a quick look at it in a second, but I think you only get to play in one time period in the demo, but I may be wrong.
Okay.
And I think it's the Nubian period.
Awesome.
Which obviously are an African region, so it goes back
Egyptian
to around Egyptian times, essentially. So that's quite interesting. So that's probably one of the first. Well, it goes back before there, of course, because they've actually shown screenshots of woolly mammoth and and sort of prehistoric tribes people running around. So yeah, a game type that I probably would like if I just took the time and spent some time playing with it. And so having an opportunity like this to sit down and spend a whole week experimenting and playing with it, like it was the case when Crater first came out. Crater wouldn't necessarily be a game that a lot of people would have purchased, but because it was a pro game, you actually spent some time playing with it, and I know there was a ton of people that actually, decided I actually really love this, and they went off and made some stuff, and obviously they've been, created some quite impressive games as a result of that. So yeah, definitely one I think that a lot of people will benefit from.
I just want to add something here which just came to me, or I remembered, with me in my old age. What I'm really actually more excited about for this game as well, it's just what I've been yelling for from the beginning of this year. This is like bringing E3 into the house. You can bring in and play the demos of new games
That's
coming.
a good shout.
straight away, even in their completely unpolished state. This is a real opportunity for Stadia. Come play these games now, unpolished, have them to go. I wish they did this around the E3 period, but this doing it now, even in this like mini Connect, is absolutely brilliant, and I wanted them to do more of this going forward.
Great shout, Dunk. Great shout. And you're absolutely right. Of course, I think the reason probably was that we've only just seen the kind of rollout of the YouTube features. I'm going to guess they wouldn't have been ready around that point. So we're, now is the time they can do it, and they're doing it in style, with of course the 3 days of the the great stuff, the good stuff. But Raph, I could see that being a future thing where all new games could be given a. Because we know, of course, that we can play any game for 2 hours over a 2-week period and get refunded. And I've always said, why not just turn that on its head and give you 2 hours for 2 weeks to play it anyway? And then if you get to that 2-hour period, it says, look, you've now got to play the game. You've got to buy it if you want to play the rest. But I think that opens everybody up to the opportunity to try every game.
Yeah,
because I'm absolutely convinced there are games even now on the store that I haven't purchased because I've thought to myself, is that kind of game I'd play? And I can't be bothered to play it and go and get a refund because it is a bit of faff. But if I could just press a button and try it for a couple of hours and then get told that, just if you want it now, you've got to pay for it. So if you've got an hour left or 30 minutes left or a little timer somewhere that shows how much time I've got left, and then I can play it and have a crack at it. I mean, I'd love to have a go at that.
Yeah, definitely.
Duncan, I know we've spoken about this before, and you've said you could imagine that getting abused. People setting up accounts just to play the demos and then setting another account and so on. And I can see that as well, but of course that won't allow you to progress within a game. You're only ever going to be within that first 2-hour period.
Yeah. What happened in the on live days, I'm going to hark back to there again, is there was demos for games, and what people did was just hop onto the multiplayer, and they just played the multiplayer maps, one game of the multiplayer. They didn't care about leveling up or anything, and it was slightly abused. So yeah, I'm actually surprised they've opened it up like that as much. But also not surprised, if that makes sense, because I actually think I thought there would be, I would have to put a credit card details in and maybe them take out £1 or something and then put it back in, or $1, just to verify that it's a real account. But this is a real positive step for them, and it's my ultimate goal is free to play games to be free on Stadia, even if you get an or there's some caveats, but I think that would be absolutely amazing if and when that would come, because if they're putting the demos up, it must be in the back of their mind about free to play and how they're going to implement that.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, I guess you're absolutely right. A game like Destiny, for example, where you can just keep playing in the Crucible for a couple of hours, come back out. But I think there's the 80-20 rule. 80% of people will not mess about. There'll always be 20% that'll have a go at trying to game the system. But it's the 80% where the rewards are for the business. So yeah, I think you're absolutely right to see this in a form that is like our own E3 event, but we get to actually play the stuff instantly that they're talking about without having to download anything. Yeah, that's unprecedented, isn't it? This has never happened before, ever. This is brand new this week in gaming.
No, it hasn't happened before. It is brand new. This is something that we've been asking for. I rephrase that. Microsoft did something semi-similar a couple of months ago with a load of indie games, but this is the first real big title, come play it now, and it's especially being on cloud, you just jump straight into it. Yeah. So I think that's a big caveat with it.
Yeah, we haven't really had things like this since I was little, where you would get a magazine and you get a little disc in there with demos on them. So it's always nice to have the demos back, because I feel like we're missing out on a lot of that stuff from our childhoods, where you get a magazine, you get a little demo disc with about 12 games on it, maybe 6. You play it for a little bit, and then you keep trying to play it and play it and play it. And with tomorrow, as we already know, Phoenix Rising is going to be the demo that I can see a lot of people just coming to just try that.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, you're absolutely right, Raph. I adored buying those games with the demos. You know, and of course, mainly you were a bit limited because they were on a CD. So you couldn't, you know, if you had a PlayStation, you could put them on a PlayStation, but a lot of the time they were, you know, little tiny PC games. But you found stuff again that, you know, there were hidden gems that you would never ever have installed if it hadn't come for free on your cover-mounted disc, as they used to be called in the trade. So I think that's a great shout. Just moving quickly on to tomorrow. You're, as you've just mentioned, Phoenix Rising. I, to be honest with you, was a little surprised that it was coming this soon before the launch of Phoenix. Yes, ladies and gentlemen. Duncan did say he did. Let's let him have his little moment in the sun. But I'm equally surprised, though, that we only get to play it for 7 days. So I know this. Each of these demos is only 7 days, but that leaves a big gap between the 7th dayth, and when the game launches. You got any thoughts on that, Duncan?
Like what you're sort of indicating and leading me down the garden path with, yes, I think that is a mistake. I think maybe the 7 days thing is just for these demos, which you don't have to pay for it. I hope that the demos actually stay on the system, even if you have to be a pro user to actually access them. Because I think it's always good to have demos on the system for people to actually test the games. So I'm a little disappointed about the 7 days, but it's good having the demos. I think the demos needed to be a bit longer, like you were indicating.
Yeah, Raph, your thoughts?
I think that they are playing a very clever game, and I reckon they are going to just have it for these 7 days so that people rush in to try these games in these 7 days. I feel like they're going to pull more people in if they limit it to just the 7 days. Because if you know something's there, you always leave it to the last minute.
Yes,
always.
yes.
No matter what. You're like, I can get to that later. But I can see them bringing these demos back maybe a week before they're due to release.
There's a good thought. And you know what you've hit on there, actually, Raph, I think is the key thing that a lot of us have forgotten. And Duncan touched on it just now when he said, you know, it's great that you didn't have to create an account. The reality is these games are here to entice people that don't have Stadia into playing, aren't they? So for us, we're thinking 7 days. But if you're new, if you know, like that fella that was repairing Andy's laptop that's instantly gone and signed up, it doesn't matter. You get 7 days to try Stadia out with 3 different games across 3 different genres that work on different devices. Pac-Man works on mobiles and looks just as great on mobiles as it does on your TV or your PC. And, you know, Ark is going to look great on the television, as is Humankind. So you get to play it across different platforms. And I think, you know, so I think you're absolutely right. You know, we've got to bear in mind a lot of this is about what the new players coming to Stadia and experiencing Stadia for the first time. But I do like the idea that they might bring these back in the future, particularly, I think, Phoenix, because I've been told that the actual demo that we get to play it probably won't be completed in the time we've got to play it. It's massive.
Oh, that sounds enticing.
Yes, absolutely. It's amazing, isn't it?
That sounds like a challenge.
It does, yep. Challenge Duncan. Right, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. We're only going to cover that news tonight because, well, we've already shot well beyond half the show, and we've still got a load to do. For you, for anybody that is not familiar with Stadia Rokks, it's a magazine show, so it's unlike any other. We don't just talk about the news for the whole show. We have segments, and the next segment coming up, ladies and gentlemen, is this one. Oh, no, it's not. It's...
What's up, Rokk?
Yes, it's What's Up, Rokk. I still love it. I still find that funny. I'm such a kid. So, listen, the question I've got, Duncan, are you going to ask me what's up?
Okay, Rock, what is up?
I'll let you know, and I'm glad that you've asked. So my question is, when are we getting Uplay Plus, Duncan and Raph? When?
Okay.
Who's going to take this first?
Oh, I can take this first. I was flipping a coin there to see where we're going to, what do you think want to go for? I've heard some rumblings, but I don't believe the rumblings, but I will put my neck out and I will say Valhalla will get it with Valhalla, not Watch Dogs Legion. I think they're going to just hold it for a wee bit longer and into the proper holiday sort of period. So when we get the other games coming as well, so I think we're going to get it with Assassin's Creed, but I'm not going to be rushing out to buy either Assassin's Creed or Watch Dogs. I'm waiting for Uplay Plus.
Absolutely. Raph, what are your thoughts?
Do you know what? I honestly don't know what to think about it. I think that Ubisoft announcement from last Friday was very suspicious. I think this news that was on Twitter about about Ubisoft Connect, which is their rebranding of.
Yeah,
We'll cover it
a little bit later, but no, it's fair. It's fine.
But no, yeah. So there's lots of things going on, lots of rumblings, as you guys are saying. I don't know where to put it because with all the things that are going on, there's signs of it coming a lot sooner rather than later. So I'm hoping sooner, but I think later.
And by sooner,
either with Watchdog Legions or much further down the line with Valhalla.
So October 29th or December 10th, which is not that far apart. I mean, it's only 11 days, 12 days. Hang on, Duncan's waving his arms like he just don't care. What's up, Dunk? What's up, Dunk?
I'll just go into the Ubisoft thing after do this breaking news.
Wow. Breaking news, folks. What value you get here.
Yeah, you do get loads of value here. It just shows you how quick the development time and what things are. Humankind is going to be updating the game to help out people to actually learn how to play it, because there's been a lot of issues. A lot of people have been struggling to actually get into the game, to actually understand it. So we're going to be putting out some instructions over the next couple of days to help people get into the game a bit better, because there seems to be a really steep learning curve with it. So that's really good and really responsive.
That's nice, isn't it? That is nice. You kind of get the impression, and again, I've said this before with games like One Hand Clapping. There's a number of them. You know that these are small studios putting. I'm not suggesting that's the case for. I think they're called Interdev. Is it Humankind? I forget now. I'm not saying that's the case, but you do get the impression with the platform, with the Stadia platform, that they are trying to foster the growth of these independent studios. And in return, those independent studios are wanting to give the best that they can as well to us as players, and obviously for the platform. I genuinely do feel that, which is why whenever there's a game that lands like One Hand Clapping, I have no problems at all buying it, because that's going to help some studio to develop their craft. So that's good news, and we'll have a look at that in a second, see what we think. Thank you for that, Doug.
Sorry about that, but I thought that was actually really good. And as Jen has just said in the chat there as well, I hope they extend the demo if they're going to be taking some of this feedback on board, so we can actually get a fuller experience of it. I think Raph is 100% right. With Ubisoft doing this Ubisoft Connect now, we may actually get something sooner rather than later. But the very, very interesting point in it is what I brought up earlier. If you look at the three platforms which you're getting at later, they all have something in common. And we're going to be talking about this later, aren't we?
Yes, we are, Don.
Sorry.
Look, mate, it's a magazine show in sections. I just told you all this.
I know.
You're starting me throat off now.
Yeah, it's because they're connected. They're connected.
They are. No, they are connected. They are connected.
But I'll leave it there. But I'll
Yes.
touch more on that when we move on to that section.
We can. What we'll do is we'll call this part 1 of the question, and we'll come back to part 2 of the question after the next section. But you're right. I tend to agree as well. I think that all roads lead to October the 29th. I'd love to think tomorrow we get told, but I know that there are rumours that may not necessarily be the case. But we'll see. We'll see tomorrow. It makes a heap of sense if you're going to release Phoenix Rising that you and everybody. I mean, it is not even a secret. You've only got to go to Ubisoft's website for the last year and type in Stadia, and it tells you that it's coming to Stadia this year. It says literally, by the end of 2020. So it's not a secret. And the time for them to roll out Uplay Plus as well is diminishing. We're coming up very. I suppose it's worth just pointing out we did have the piece of news last week where they did announce a number of Ubisoft games coming, and some of them that we weren't even aware that would be coming. But they said holiday 2020 for some of them. Now, could that be that that's when Uplay Plus is coming? And for me, and I'm probably overreading this, but my thought was they didn't say holidays, which tends to be, of course, American shortcut for what we call Christmas holidays, right? Or Christmas break. So when they say holidays, they tend to mean the Christmas period. But when they say holiday, singular, there's only one holiday, big national holiday between now and holidays, and that's, of course, Thanksgiving. So, my mind instantly went to, okay, so are you saying Uplay Plus is coming out Thanksgiving? Or are you saying that it starts with a chunk of games and then a whole other bunch and chunk of games come a few weeks later? Who knows? We don't know this. But my feeling is Watch Dogs Legions. And that's October the 29th. It makes a heap of sense for other reasons that we'll go on to as well. So before we do move on, because I kind of feel less up now, I'm sort of chilled a bit now over that. Any more thoughts, Dunk?
Yep. Remember your blue pills.
Yes, I have no idea what you're talking about, mate. I presume you mean the ones that match my eyes.
Of course, that's what I'm meaning.
What is he like, ladies and gentlemen?
This is an interesting show.
What is he like? I mean, clearly has experience. Clearly has good experience. Right.
I do indeed.
While we're up, let's move on to the next segment, ladies and gentlefolks. Jesus, right. Next one.
Oh my goodness.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Ladies and gentlemen, this said Rokk reviews, but as you can see, if you look up there, it's actually now the Raph review. Yes, Raph is owning this one on Wednesdays from now on. I just need to. We're actually going to do some live stuff here, ladies and gentlemen. And what are we going to do? Because we're not going to ask you about Uplay Plus, of course. That's just a crass management error. No, we're going to take a look at Humankind. So you go hot off the press. Some of you may not have had a chance to look at it yet. I haven't. But I am the one that's got the founder's controller, so it looks like I'm going to be. There I am, Rokk. Follow me, friend me, do whatever you want to me. I don't mind. As long as I've got some of Duncan's blue pills, I'll be fine. So, guys, have you had a chance to play with Humankind yet? Shaking of heads here. Have you ever played Humankind?
No, because it's a brand new IP and franchise made by Sega, and it's not out as yet.
Wow. So here we go. You've noticed something there, which has got to change soon, and I think, Duncan, you mentioned this as well. There's a slight negativity, but it's the way it's got to be. We've all got so many games now on the UI. When you launch it, it takes an hour and a day to get anything to happen. That's got to change soon, please. If anything's going to happen by Thanksgiving, that will make me thankful, I can assure you.
I'm sticking to this, but I think there's going to be a UI update tomorrow. I think that's my prediction. I don't think it will happen anymore, but I'm still going to go with it and say there'll be a UI update tomorrow.
I hope so, but my gut feeling is we're going to get the UI update with launch on Chromecast with TV. I think that they're going to maybe try it all together.
Okay.
Hopefully I'm wrong. I want the UI update.
Definitely.
It certainly won't be part of the event. If they do it, it'll just be a shadow drop. That's how things happen around here on the features these days. Of course, what we do need to do is we need to get Jem, who's in the chat, to crack open the EEPROM inside the CCU, throw it on his. I can imagine. I reckon Jem's got one of those kind of like labs. Like he wears a white coat. He's got all the electric testing gadgetry. And he puts his glasses over and he's like checking all the stuff and he's finding stuff in the browsers and everything. So I think I need Jem to get in there and have a look and see what's going on, because I think it's desperate for an update. There's no question of that. Well, we're loading, folks. I've got a little loading symbol. I do have to say that I was having issues with my, not with my Stadia, with my Elgato before we came into this. So hopefully it's not got stuck. But Jem's desperate for a search bar. Here we go. Right then. So, Dunk, you're really familiar with these kinds of games. Talk us through what you're seeing here, and I'll go wherever you send me.
I haven't played this game because it could be completely different. So basically, in these sort of games, your object is to build up your civilization, or I don't know what the way they're going to call it in this one. It's a 4X explore. I forget all the acronyms because I'm stupid.
What does that mean? I heard that yesterday. What is 4? I mean, I just thought it was a kind of beer.
Explore, exterminate. There's 2 other ones as well.
Okay.
It's basically you go out and you expand and all this sort of carry on. Someone in chat's going to show how stupid I am and say all four of these here, but I actually can't really see that well. So this is one of the things with I think that tweet we were just broke there earlier. It's just to make things a lot more easier to understand and what you're meant to do.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm struggling to see that.
That's okay. You can actually expand that one if you click in the right corner, bottom right corner of my screen. You should be able to.
I'll maybe put it on to YouTube. I think the quality is better on YouTube. There we go. So you have got, so you can send your wee dudes out there to explore the land by the looks of things. Is that a city you've already got created there?
I don't know. It's something. I mean, this is going to be let's just caveat this. This is going to be the world's worst ever review of humankind. There is no question of that. We just having a quick look. This is all.
If you're using a mouse,
and I'm using my Founders, mate.
It might be.
I could have used my Wasabi, but I went with my Founders.
What I've been told is the controller support's pretty ropey.
Yeah,
at this point.
No,
because
it is, but I can't. It's not. I'm not using on the PC. I'm literally playing on my CCU.
So what we'll want to do here is probably just move on to them. So if you click onto them and then drag to the side, and you get the wee men to move there.
So where do I?
So
objective. Hang on. It all started.
There we go.
Give your first orders, it says. Right, okay, so we've got to give our first order. You're right, I mean, the old controller's a bit picky. So there are some things over there. See, this is what I was like with Baldur's Gate. I was like, well, hang on, there's a thing there you can press, and what does that do? It's one of those, you've got to give it hours, haven't you? You can't just pop in and go, yes, it's like Pac-Man. Hang on, it's got a little path there. Right, here we go, Dunk. So we can go in. There they go. Look at them.
Go on, the boys.
Come
on.
Go on, the boys.
So from what it looks like is, you see that, what shape is that? Hexagon?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, the hexagon on the ground. Each area is obviously a little hexagon, which counts as how many spaces you can move.
Got it.
Yeah.
Do you think they're tired out now? Because I've sent them quite a distance, look.
Yeah, you might need to end your turn soon.
Oh,
you got one more move left.
Hang on a minute. Who else gets a go?
Yeah, computer in the background. Basically, this is a turn-based game,
Right.
so it's not a real-time strategy game. I think a couple of people thought this was going to be a real-time strategy game. No, it's a turn-based game.
Right.
So you've got a limited amount of things you can do for each character. If you go over to your city, did you have a city there?
Yeah, there is a city. Yes, there it is.
Yeah, click that bad boy.
Right, I've clicked. Oh, yes, look at all this malarkey.
Do you like my technical
I
terms?
did. When, the last time anyone said click that bad boy, surprisingly enough, it wasn't long after I had taken a blue pill.
What is this?
It's Duncan's fault, Raph. He started it.
That wasn't down to me. You can't blame me. Some things you can blame me for, but that's stuff you can't.
I can't. It's his fault. Right, so look, we've got cogs. I was very careful with what I said there. We've got a yellow circle and another thing in blue and an egg and a corn, a wheat thing.
So you're doing stuff with a yellow
So-
circle and the cogs.
Yeah,
So the little green thing, that's food.
right.
The cogs are industry. The
Yeah.
gold thing is money,
Gold.
and
It's usually like what's the word?
The
I'm
other-
looking for?
the little planet is science.
Yes, science. That's the bad boy I was looking for. Because basically, what you do is you learn like different texts. If it was like civilization, it would be like alphabet and mathematics and stuff like that. Rock, I've got a feeling you're going to absolutely love this game, even though you've said off air that you're going to hate it.
You know I love this kind of game, Doug. I honestly have the. You see, I've even forgotten the word. It's so bad. I've got the concentration of a gnat. I genuinely do. I can't sit still for 2 minutes on any kind of game. I'm absolutely awful for it. So look, hang on. Our fellows are over there. Like, look,
Bad boys, yes.
they're over there doing absolutely nothing. Should I have sent them over here to our town then, our city?
I would actually use them to explore the area because usually there's things you can get like in Civilization to be like things called goodie huts where you can get like new tech or you can get new units that give you a map of the area and things like that.
Okay.
Is that one just up the top there?
Well, there's a magnifying glass thing there. Look.
Click onto there.
Yeah, you've got one movement left for these people.
Go.
How did I select them again? Can you remember?
Just
You clicked on the bad boys, remember? And you said, "Go on, you boys." Yeah.
I did. No, I remember the sentence. Right. Hang on a minute. Oh dear. This is a cracking Raph review. I'm glad we.
so. Yeah.
I think
Oh, you just had them selected,
Did I?
and then you.
Oh no, you're watching on YouTube. That's why I did that 10 minutes ago. Yes, I know I did get them selected. I just can't remember how I selected them now. Oh, is it because I've got to select one of these dudes, the scout?
yes.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, you might have it. Have you got two? Have they joined together?
Well,
Again, it's
yeah, they're working together. I think I did.
So.
Oh, here we go.
See,
Go.
Yes.
there you go. You worked it out.
What? Hang on. What are they doing?
Yep. Click again. Double click. Go for click again. Click.
I'm clicking.
Hit there.
Well, they've.
Oh, yeah.
They've.
Oh, you've managed to run off your moves. Hit end turn.
Where'd you do? Where's your end turn?
Is it bottom right? It tells you, or bottom? Yeah. What's that saying?
One idle army. That sounds like me.
Do you think we should maybe come back to this game as a rock review
Do you think we should?
or a rap review?
Do you think we should call it a day on our RAF review? Well, I just wanted to have a look at it, and we've done that, haven't we? I mean, it's promising. Look, please do not judge this game on this idiot's attempt at playing it. All I really wanted to do was have a quick first look, and I definitely. Well, you know what? There's one answer to this, and that's watching other people play it that know what they're doing. So hunt out folk, and you're actually doing a live stream of this, aren't you? At some point, Duncan?
I'm thinking of doing it offline because there may be lots of swear words and such like when I'm trying to learn the game. So I don't think it would be a good idea for me to do it online first time.
Well, fair shout. Fair shout, mate. But when you do, let us know and we'll promote it, because I think people do need to see how this. Well, we've got 7 days, and the one thing that we do know is that they are the bit that I just struggled with there really was, well, what do I do? And they're going to come with a sort of a tutorial. They're going to drop a tutorial in the next couple of days, which probably exists. They just haven't popped it into this demo.
Yeah, I Rokk, this isn't me slagging you off here or anything. From before you even started, I was saying, were you using the controller or not? Remember, this is very, 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 very early access. This is even more early access than Baldur's Gate 3, so you need to bear that in mind. Yeah, the controller support is very, very limited. So I think it's the most basic. If you're going to play this, it's going to be a mouse and keyboard.
Also, just to also mention, this is an open dev beta, which is actually something completely brand new from what I was reading in their description. It's literally something that they're going to be working on whilst you're playing with it. As you can see, they're literally updating the beta to have an introduction in it so that you can learn how to do it.
Wow.
So I feel like we're going to get a bit more, even though this is such a short beta.
Is that something that's unique to Stadia, Raph, or is it a whole concept across the gaming world?
I think it's a first of its kind, if I remember reading correctly. So it must be.
It's a week of firsts. Yeah, so people haven't really stopped to think about that, have they? This whole click to play, the demo thing, open dev. We really, really, really are in cutting edge. We're right at the cusp of cutting edge tech, aren't we? Amazing.
Yeah, this is what we were talking about earlier, about this being E3 at home. This is absolutely outstanding sort of stuff. And this is why Stadia can be such an exciting platform going forward, because they can do this sort of thing, drop the games down, like the developers work on it while the game is being made, and make them changes. This is going to be wild when this all really kicks off.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Great. Excellent. Well, I thought that was an amazing Raph review. Luckily, Raph did have some helps and some tips there to help me along the way. So let's move on to our very, very final section of our magazine show, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you guys for that. It's called Ask Cloudy. I tell you, there's no expense spared. It's the professionalism that's going on behind the scenes here, I can tell you. Duncan, with a pig behind you, what is Ubisoft Connect?
Ubisoft Connect, and believe it or not, this is Ubisoft stuff behind it. Does anybody know what that's from?
Watchdog Legions.
And?
Watchdog Legions. Far Cry 6.
Black Mirror?
Nope. It is Watch Dogs Legions are crossing with all the other Ubisoft games, so it's Watch Dogs Legions cross with Assassin's Creed.
Wow, that's amazing.
So, yes,
did you do that yourself? Was that a little piece of art you put together?
No, this is Ubisoft doing it now. They've updated all their games on Xbox and such. Like they put the Watch Dogs Legion stuff onto it, which is really funky. They've hacked their
own stuff. Yeah. I tell you, I absolutely love those guys. I love them.
Oh no! They won't do that. Nearly excellent for this. So, what is Ubisoft Connect? Ubisoft Connect is not a Stadia Connect. It is. It is. They're basically amalgamating all their services into one, so everybody can. They're going to be doing a big, massive push towards cross-platform saves, cross-progression, and all that. And it is starting on the 29th of October with Watch Dogs Legion. The very interesting part of this is they're saying this is going to be on all platforms, but they separated out the 3 cloud platforms in Stadia, Luna, and GeForce Now. It is coming later to their platforms. I know Rock's going to enjoy this section because he's got a big thing to talk about.
I've certainly got a big thing to talk about here.
Yes. You're into them pills again.
No, I listen. I'm intrigued because you said they've separated out the 3 cloud platforms.
Yes.
We know it's definitely coming to Stadia, and we know it's definitely going to Luna, although it would be called the Ubisoft channel. Nobody's mentioned GeForce to me.
Yeah, GeForce has already had access. Excuse me, had access to Uplay Plus through their different things. Hopefully, this is the integration, or you probably don't want me to talk about this. Hopefully, this is the integration into GeForce now, so you don't have to keep on logging in with your Ubisoft account.
Right. Okay.
But basically, yeah, it's separated the free cloud platforms out from the rest of the normal consoles. So, and it's coming later. So, speculation time. We need our speculation. Yes, we need that up in the corner there.
That. Yeah, we can't have it. Sorry.
Yes, but
you ain't having it.
Basically, yeah. Basically, this is going to be the cornerstone for all Ubisoft content going forward. We're going to have challenges and absolutely all that, all the unlockables. And if you unlock it in one, it's going to be unlocked in all the different places you play Ubisoft games. So we'll go down the speculation alley again here. The free cloud platforms all will have access to Uplay Plus in one shape or another, and they are separated off. I think this is a Rock time here to get his speculation hat on.
I think, well, I've said it a couple of times just recently, haven't I? I think that it is Ubisoft's plan to have Uplay Plus, or whatever they want to call it, on every platform they can possibly get it on. I think we're starting to see it. We've seen it with Stadia, or we're seeing it with Stadia. We're seeing it with Luna. I think, it's kind of on GeForce, but I think we're only a hop, skip, and a jump away from it being on Xbox as well. They may have to work a bit on PlayStation and Nintendo, but certainly I think they're off to a good start. I know that everyone's going to say, and my other theory, and I'm full of these, is that it will be one price, play anywhere, one sub, play anywhere. Now, how they carve that up with the platforms, I think it's going to be not so much that they'll get a slice of the subscription, but I think they will give them significant discounts on the actual sale of games and DLCs, because all of those platforms, with the exception of GeForce and Luna, I think will come, you will be able to buy those games and the DLCs independently, because not everybody is going to want to subscribe, unless, of course, it's given away, which I don't see happening now. So I think it really is speculation, but I do think that we're going to see that kind of thing. But I do think that it is their objective. Of course, if you think about it from their perspective, this is why not? They don't care what platforms those games are on. They just want to sell as many subscriptions as possible. Now they've gone down the road of deciding that the future is gaming as a service in their case. Then it's important for them to have that across all platforms and have unfettered access to people subscribing across all platforms. But we get cross-play, cross-save, cross-progression on all Ubisoft games, no matter where you play them, which I think is amazing. For me, what I'm hoping is that you will, for example, a lot of us have already got Ubisoft games that we've bought on Stadia, and I'm hoping that we'll be able to fire them up on Uplay Plus day one, and we'll have all the same progression, and then potentially go across to another platform that we may or may not have invested in, fire the game up there and find the same progression. And that for me is the real kind of nirvana for future gaming, which cloud makes absolutely possible. Speculation.
Yeah. Speculation. As I said earlier, it's like you start the game up on Stadia on your Chromecast, finish it up there, go to Luna and play it on your Apple phone, because the issues there. And if that's all linked in together, one subscription, one everything, that is just going to be blissful and so good.
Just
I think
mind-blowingly good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Raph, what are your thoughts on all this? There's so much here to take in.
I think that, as you guys said, they're trying to cross-play and all this sort of stuff, which is why all the consoles are getting that one singular Ubisoft Connect, whereas all the sort of cloud gaming are getting their own individual little things, and I don't know if that's because they've gone, and I'm not going to say these dreaded words, but Netflix sort of thing. They realize that maybe there is some sort of money in streaming games. So are they trying to make it like Apple TV, where you subscribe to each channel and you have all that sort of stuff? But then again, it pushes you towards that sort of Netflix, Apple TV sort of structure. And I don't know how they're going to go about it, or how it's going to work for them money wise. As you were saying, they might get the DLCs and stuff like that. But it all, I can't get my head around why a service would let you do that and how they would let you go on their platform, because they're pretty much saying, don't buy the full game, just play it from us. But do you know what I mean?
I absolutely do understand it, and it's difficult. Even I have to do a lot of thinking around it. I think there's a couple of things from Ubisoft's perspective. If you're paying, let's just say they up the price to $20, right? Which allowed you to play in at least 2 other cloud gaming places, and potentially on PC as well. That's $240 a year, which, quite honestly, they know what the sale of games is for them. They look at that. They look at the average gamer, and they say they buy 1 or 2 a year tops. They're paying $50, $60 right now to us to buy a game. One game, because they love Assassin's Creed or they love Far Cry or what have you. So it's worth them saying, give us $240 a year and you can play all you want. Because the actual revenue they're getting from the individual is vastly more than they were getting. And again, some of us will buy 5 of these games. We're definitely going to have Legions. We're definitely going to have Valhalla. We definitely want Phoenix Rising. We definitely want Far Cry. But most gamers don't.
Yeah.
So what they're aiming for is the most gamers. And of course, that ties in exactly with the mantra of Stadia and Luna. Both of them are saying that's the audience they're after. The most gamers, the casual gamers, the guys that don't buy that level of games, but actually would be up for spending a little bit. And you've also, in terms of, well, where does that work for the platform? Well, if you flip it on its head, for starters, and, who knows whether Stadia have sat on it, rather than it being ready. It could have been ready to go for all we know some time ago. We don't know. So we don't know whether Stadia have sat on it or not, or whether they're a bit late and they should have got it out earlier. But they definitely had first mover advantage. It was announced that they were coming. It was coming to Stadia before anybody else. Similarly with Luna. With Luna, it's a slightly different thing because Amazon sell games. So, if to them it's a loss leader, they get $1 or something, or 12 cents or whatever it is, because it's all about volumes, this stuff. And they can then sell other games. That works a treat. But it's going to come a point where you're going to go, well, I would go on that platform, but they don't have the Uplay Plus that I've got used to playing. And it suddenly flips on its head. It's no more about what's the value to the platform to have it. It's what's the loss to the platform that doesn't have it.
Okay. Yeah.
And they suddenly become, they become as ubiquitous as Spotify and Netflix, where you won't buy a TV if it hasn't got Netflix built in on your remote control or whatever.
I get you.
Yeah, but I would say then if they're going to go down that model, I think there's a price point which is the perfect price point, and I think the £13, $15 is at the top end. If they push it to 20, you're getting into fun territory where it's, do you really want this, or should I wait for a sale? Because I know it's in that sort of thing as well. If they are going down to this route where they're going to say we're going to make it really uncomfortable for people to not have us on the platform, that for me in this current climate makes him an absolutely ideal person or company to be acquired. And I think which brings other questions along to it. I take it you thought about that as well, Rokk.
Yeah, well, yes. That's beyond the remit of this particular question. Maybe we'll do a What's Up Rokk on that one in the near future. But I think, also you have to think to yourself, where is Spotify? Where does Spotify exist? For example, Spotify is everywhere. Now, they're not giving a chunk of subscription to every car manufacturer, every phone device, every television, every system that has Netflix or Spotify on it. They having it on is the reason that a lot of people are buying that piece of kit. And that's where Ubisoft are trying to get to. They want to get to a point where you wouldn't want to be on that platform if you weren't having access to it. But they will give away. I mean, typically what happens is, Raph, as I'm sure you know, when you go and buy your PC from wherever, Best Buy, and it comes pre-installed, with bloatware. So you've got your usual security, anti-firewall stuff and what have you. Well, they're not giving a chunk. They're all these days. They're all softwares as services, right? They're all, they just charge you an ongoing fee. They're not giving a percentage of that every year to Dell. They're giving Dell maybe 3 months worth of whatever that looks like to them, or even a year's worth, as an inducement for putting it on their platform. Now, that could very much be a similar thing here. So we want it on Stadia. We're going to charge $15 a month. Everybody that signs up will give you 3 months of that $15, and then you can have 15% more on direct sales of the stuff that you sell in your store, because it's a longer term win for Ubisoft. They're prepared to take it on the nose for a few years.
Do you think this is Ubisoft using their strong position against the weaker platforms then, if it's going to be that? Yeah, I'll be a yes then.
It's possible, isn't it? I've no idea.
Yeah.
I don't get that that's how they play, but, I also said I didn't think Luna would drop the same day as the good stuff. I was wrong. I'm just a little dolphin in a shark-infested sea.
Can we say something about that as well?
I think you did also predict that one, didn't you? Yes. He's full of them this week, folks. Brilliant. So Ubisoft Connect, which is bringing everything together, and it's clearly all part of their ongoing strategy to move into the cloud and make everything a gaming as a service, is happening on the 29th of October, which is also, of course, the day that Watch Dogs Legion launches. And would therefore be a great day to launch Uplay Plus on a new platform, would it not?
It would be, yeah.
I think so.
Be very clever, yeah.
Yeah. What do you think, Duncan?
Sorry, it actually broke up when you were speaking there. I actually didn't hear.
We've not broke up, have we? We've been together for months. How can you do this to me live?
I'm not gonna go. I've
just got the email now, folks. I can't believe this. I'll take my pills elsewhere.
I the pill joke.
What is it with you? You're an Egypt. You're an Egypt. I was just saying, did you not think that it would be a perfect time to launch? Let's be open on this. Do you not think that Stadia's Uplay Plus launching the same day as Ubisoft Connect and Watch Dogs Legion would be a good thing to do?
Here's the thing, but them two things aren't connected.
Which parts? There's three things.
The Ubisoft Connect is not launching on Stadia on Watch Dogs Legion Day. It's coming later in the year.
Oh, when do I get the 29th of October from for Ubisoft?
Because it's coming to the other platforms then. The free cloud platforms are not. It's not coming then date.
Right. Okay.
So that's why I think it's maybe Valhalla or sometime later to get all the lineup, and they're going to come to the free cloud platforms at the same time. As we know, there's no word of when it's coming to Luna either, so it might be a whole combined sort of thing.
We hopefully will get a hint tomorrow, if not the dope, as they say. So let's keep our fingers crossed on that one. Thank you very much, Cloudy. And just before we do move along, there's a reason why this is Ask Cloudy and why we've got that lovely little smiley cloud icon. I don't know who designed that for you, Duncan, but it's an absolutely gorgeous piece of artwork.
Yeah, it seems to be some
award-winning.
Seems that someone who's seems to be fond of the color blue
and the grey. Indeed, I do like the grey as well. Goes with the eyes, you see. He's such a tart.
Yes, I think we're ruining Raph here.
Rafi's just trying to ruin my show. The audience I've lost because of his
It's
potty
all right.
mouth.
Fine, I'm just thinking about the Matrix. We're good.
Oh yeah, exactly, Raph. Thank you, mate. Thank you for getting me out of that hole. No, Duncan, no. Down, boy. Duncan, where can people find you to find more of this ridiculous humour?
I don't have any humour. I'm not funny at all. You can find me at One to Escape and Cloudy with Games. I've got such an amazing team.
No. We haven't come to the end of the show. I'm asking where we can find Cloudy.
I thought you were trying to get rid of me there. You were going to get away with anymore.
It'd be easy to get rid of you. That's not the point.
I don't. Cloudy with a Chancellorgames.com.
There he goes. We got rid of him, mate. Thank God for that. Raph, save me. Let's get the hell out of here. Right, let's take it to the end of the show. Why don't we? It's it's been a great show, and it's been our first one. I'm just trying to find the proper banners here. There we go. Look. Thank you for watching, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you've enjoyed yourselves. So this is Stadia Rokks. It's all about Stadia. It's all about the platform we love. We have a laugh, but we do some deep dive stuff as well. I hope you join us again next week. Oh, hang on. What's going on? It's all going wrong here. Raph, where can people find you, my friend?
You can find me on Twitter at _RaphGaming_. You can find me here every Wednesday. You can find me at Cloudy with a Chance of Games.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm whoring myself out at the moment, aren't I?
You are. You're doing very well. I saw you was a load of articles today. Duncan, dare we ask?
I don't think you'll find me here next week after what's happened today. But you can find me at One to Escape. And Cloudy with Games on Twitter as well. And I want to shout out the amazing team like Raph. We've got Barry. We've got all the people there. We've got Sammy. We've got Clyde Gamerman. We've got everybody under the sun. And thank you, Rokk, as well, for all your help behind the scenes as well.
It's an absolute pleasure, my friend. It's been a great show. I've really enjoyed it. Thank you so much, guys, for our new weekly slot here for Stadia Rokks. As always, thank you so much to our patrons. They're all listed there. And thank you guys in the chat as well for joining us tonight. It's been great to see all your comments and laughing along. It makes such a difference. I'm trying to work with. I mean, how can you soar like an eagle when you're flying with turkeys? Let's be frank.
Oh, it just called you a turkey, Raph. I can understand me, but Raph, come on.
I know. No, but he is a nice turkey.
Man, it's all good.
He's a friendly turkey. Have a great week, folks. Enjoy tomorrow, the final day, of course, of the good stuff. And we'll be here, same time, same place next week. Rock out. Say goodbye, guys.
Goodbye, guys.
Goodbye.